Today on Upfront, the fight over same-sex marriage in Wisconsin. Next, Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin on the future of gay marriage. Why she says top state Republicans need to stop fighting it. Plus, a leading opponent of same-sex marriage. Wisconsin Family Action's Jelaine Appling says the fallout will be profound.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. Same-sex marriages in Wisconsin are on hold for now. Late Friday, federal judge Barbara Crabb said the wedding should end while the state appeals her ruling declaring Wisconsin's same-sex marriage ban unconstitutional. And the week after the judge's first ruling, nearly 600 same-sex couples sought marriage licenses and got married in Wisconsin. While the legal drama continues, we're looking at the future of same-sex marriage in this state and in the nation. We're talking now with Wisconsin's Democratic U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Senator, it's good to have you back on the program.
It's great to join you.
Well, let's set aside the legal wrangling that is still to come on this issue. How confident are you that at the end of the day, same-sex marriage will be legal in Wisconsin and in all 50 states?
Well, it's remarkable what's happened in the last year. I think it was June of last year when the United States Supreme Court ruled in two decisions, bringing us to a place where we have seen 12 states, federal judges in 12 states, rule that bans in their state constitutions were unconstitutional. And it's really remarkable, but I think it very much reflects the tide of public opinion on this issue. And it's really about our fundamental values as Americans and as Wisconsinites. We believe in equality, fairness, opportunity. We want our loved ones to be treated like our neighbors, our friends. We want to recognize that love is love and family is family. And there's very few people left who stand in the way. Unfortunately, two people who do stand in the way in the state of Wisconsin is, our governor and our attorney general. Governor Walker is defending discrimination. J.B. Van Hollen is prosecuting progress. And I think it's time that they not stand in the way of equality and fairness.
You want them to drop their continued attempts to defend the same-sex marriage ban in the state?
They should drop their appeal.
Now let me have you address the rationale for their appeal. And J.B. Van Hollen was on the show a while ago, and he said, hey, this is a simple matter of the law. I am defending the state's law. In 2006, the people of this state went to the polls. They voted overwhelmingly in favor of a same-sex marriage ban. That's the law. I'm doing what I'm empowered to do. What's your response to that?
Well, in fact, he is standing in the way of what has been a clear change in the tide of public opinion. And essentially, this is about some of our most fundamental American values of non-discrimination, of equality, of fairness. He certainly is aware of the United States Supreme Court opinion of last June. He certainly understands that across the nation, federal judge after federal judge has declared the type of ban that we have in our state constitution to be unconstitutional. And now we can say that not only are these bans sort of counter to our values, but they're also counter to the United States Constitution.
How about the argument that you hear from supporters of the ban who say, if you want to change the law, do it through the legislative process. That's the way the law was changed to begin with. That's the way the law was created to begin with. Why not go that route?
Well, again, we have a small number of people, including the governor and the attorney general, who stand in the way of that happening. It's a complicated process to amend the state constitution. 2 successive state legislatures have to take action, and then it goes before the voters. That's a process that takes years. And when the Supreme Court has articulated clearly in striking down the Defense of Marriage Act a belief in equality and fairness and opportunity, I think it's, there's, again, just a couple people standing in the way of that happening in Wisconsin, and they should cease their attempts to appeal the ruling of a federal court judge in Wisconsin.
Very briefly, is this a big political issue in fall campaigns?
Well, I would say that the views of the American people have really sided with fairness. And I think as Wisconsinites, we want to leave for the next generation a state that's more equal, not less. That said, I still think the chief concerns on almost every Wisconsin citizen's mind probably focus a lot more on our economy.
Let's talk about another issue that affects people's pocketbooks, and that is student debt.
Yeah.
And this past week, the Senate took a vote on legislation that would allow about 25 million Americans to refinance their student loans, much lower rate, today's rate, 3.86%. Had a majority supporting it, but not enough to move it forward. Is this legislation dead, or is it going to come back in some other form at some other time?
You know, this is such a huge crisis facing our nation, facing our middle class, facing young people at the very beginning of their careers, that I think it will come back. I think it must come back. It would impact over 500,000 Wisconsinites who would be able to refinance their student debt from higher interest rates to lower interest rates. It would put money in all of their pockets that wouldn't be spent on those higher interest rates, and that would be spent in local economies throughout communities in Wisconsin. It is a drag on our economy that we have $1.2 trillion in aggregate student debt.
Very briefly, I have you respond to the Republican criticism of this legislation. They say, first of all, it's a tax because it's paid for with the Buffett rule, a tax on millionaires. But what they say it really doesn't address is it doesn't reduce the amount of borrowing. It doesn't reduce the cost of a higher education. They say this is essentially an election year gimmick. It makes for a great talking point if a Democrat is running for re-election. What do you say?
Well, it's very clear that if passed, the legislation would have real impact. The average savings for a student if refinancing their debt is about $4,000 over the life of those loans. That's a big deal. That said, the Republican response, I think, has been really weak. The idea that because it doesn't fix everything about college affordability, that we're not going to pass a measure that does something significant is a non-excuse in my mind. We do have to do other things to make college more affordable, but this is a very important first start. And then the idea that they would be protecting millionaires and billionaires who are paying lower tax rates than some middle-class families is, I mean, it's ludicrous, and that's what people should be looking at. Whose side are you on? Let
me take a quick break. We'll continue with Senator Baldwin in just a moment. We'll be talking about the prisoner swap, the freed Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl. Did the White House break the law? And that's when Up Front continues.
Up Front with Mike Gousha, brought to you by American Transmission Company.